What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Saturday evening's Anfield Agenda news roundup. And as always, we have a packed video coming up for you. We're going to start to rule players out of a move to Liverpool in this summer transfer window. We're going to be giving you the very latest on Trent Alexander-Arnold situation, which looks like it's coming to a close. And a little bit on Rodrigo as well from Real Madrid, who has been left out of their squad for tonight amid, well, lots of reports that he could be leaving the club in the summer. So all of that to come up over the next few minutes. A quick reminder that we won't be live tonight as it is my daughter's 21st. We're going to just celebrate and spend some time with her before she heads away for a few days. So we are going to get straight back into it tomorrow for the watch along from 3:15 p.m. We'll have our match reaction, our player ratings and everything else you would expect here on a match day. Until then, let's get stuck into the news. Right, let's start off with a little bit from Lewis Steele, who's speaking about reports of certain players who have been linked to Liverpool, but we can now start to rule out. And it's not just him, by the way. Stick with me, because at the end of the video, we're going to give you some names from Romano as well, who reckons that Liverpool aren't interested in these players. So this piece here said, reports have linked Liverpool with loads of players in recent weeks: Morgan Rogers, João Pedro and Liam Delap. But like many other names that the rumour mill chugs out, they are not on the list at this stage. Not really any surprise about Liam Delap. We kind of knew that, and I still believe that he will end up at Chelsea. João Pedro, I've always been surprised to see that name on the list, but he did score well in Liverpool's metrics, so maybe they've decided not worth the money there or isn't consistent enough. And I would agree with that, by the way. João Pedro, for me, isn't ready to come to a club like Liverpool. But Morgan Rogers was the interesting one. That was one that started to get me personally excited over the last couple of weeks. But it is understandable as well. We've mentioned previously that Liverpool looked at that deal, I think it was Fabrizio Romano said it, as a complicated deal. It might have been Ornstein, but one of those two said that. So there are a few names that we can start to rule out. But we're going to move on because we've lots to get through. Also from Lewis Steele, he said, the Red Scouting Department have been scouring the market far and wide with observers present at the RB Leipzig game on Saturday. Xavi Simons and Benjamin Sesko could be on the agenda. It is understood they've also watched players at Real Betis and River Plate. The River Plate one is probably fairly straightforward. It's probably Mastuano. Excuse my pronunciation there again. But I think, again, every top club in Europe is going to be looking at him. Betis, your suggestions will be very welcome in the chat, and who you think that may be. It's certainly not a former Manchester United player anyway. And Xavi Simons and Benjamin Sesko, again, common sense. Sesko will make a move this summer. Started at Salzburg, moved up to Leipzig, and now is going to depart. Liverpool's name has been mentioned with him in recent days. And the one that keeps confusing a lot of us is Xavi Simons. You're either in one or two camps here on Simons. You either think he's brilliant, or you're like me and you're really not sure. And the more Reds I've spoken to over the past month or so, the more that divide has started to become clear. Especially when you look at about 70 million euro being the price tag that Leipzig would look for there for him. I just don't think there's value in it. But if it's who Arne Slot wants, like I've said all the way through, I'll support whatever the manager wants to do. Now, a little bit on Bayer Leverkusen and their manager, Xabi Alonso. Report coming out of Spain confirms that Real Madrid have been informed that Alonso will join them in the summer. This is, pretty much an open secret, if you want to call it that. Carlo Ancelotti had looked like he was heading for the Brazil job, although that fell apart because of money, really. There's no way of getting around that. It fell apart because of money. And now it looks like Alonso will be heading to Real Madrid. But, question comes then, what about Trent Alexander-Arnold? Well, again, this report does come out of Spain, so I would say take it with a pinch of salt. But this piece coming in, Madrid Zone via Dario AS, which is a Spanish publication, say Real Madrid want Trent Alexander-Arnold for the Club World Cup, and Liverpool would be ready to give the green light on two conditions. Now, I have to say, these seem fairly common sense things, but let's go through them and see what you think. The player would have to give up his June salary because his contract would run to the end of June with Liverpool as things stand. So if they want him at the end of May when the league is over, then Trent would have to give up his June salary, which is what, about £160,000, £180,000. And Real Madrid would have to pay a small compensation fee, they say, which would be under €1 million. And again, understandable because of the very small amount of time. But again, what we can see here is the fact that it does look like Trent is inching towards the Anfield exit. Even the most optimistic of Liverpool fans at this point, or media, all seem to be pointing in that direction. I don't know when this announcement is going to come. I feel it will be after the parade and all that stuff, but either way, let's wait and see if he does leave his Liverpool contract early or what happens there. So let's talk about Rodrigo. As I mentioned, he's not even in the squad, according to Fabrizio Romano, for Real Madrid's game against Celta Vigo. That could mean a couple of things. Could mean that he is on his way out, which it looks like he may be. It could mean that, I don't know, Madrid just don't want to wear the players out with. I actually don't know what it means, to be honest. They're out of the Champions League. They're still trying to push Barcelona for the La Liga title. They lost the cup. I don't know what it means other than Real Madrid's in a bit of a mess, which kind of makes me as a Liverpool fan feel a little bit more frustrated that Trent looks at how stable and good life is at Liverpool and wants to go over there and join that circus, really. Let's talk a little bit about Milos Kerkez, because we do have some good news in this video as well. It's not all negative, don't worry. This, according to Lewis Steele, and it's very good news. Milos Kerkez is Liverpool's main target for left-back. I do think that Kerkez is reasonably advanced, said Lewis Steele. Bournemouth are fighting for Europe, so Liverpool won't disrespect them. Once the season is finished, it wouldn't be a surprise if it ramps up. So as you can see here, it does look like Liverpool are going to make a move for Milos Kerkez. It would be a huge surprise if they didn't, after all the reports that we'd seen. Kerkez liking a lot of Szoboszlai's posts. We do know Agent Dom has been working away on that one. So keep your eyes peeled, folks. That could be one of Liverpool's early transfers, according to Lewis Steele. Milos Kerkez looking like it's moving along. But Liverpool want to be respectful of Bournemouth's position in the league to see if they can get themselves European qualification. And to finish up a little few quotes from Fabrizio Romano around some of the players that Liverpool have been linked with. Liverpool and many clubs have been impressed this season by Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers, but it would be harder to get from the Midlands club, especially if they finish in the Champions League places, and is likely to cost more than the other two, Bournemouth's Antoine Semenyo and Brentford's Brian Mbeumo, according to Sky Sports. Fabrizio Romano has also confirmed Liverpool's interest. Some reports state that Liverpool are not interested in Rodgers, and that comes from Dave O.C. Kopp. So, look, if we look through those names, Rodgers I would really like at Liverpool, but can understand the difficulty in that deal, the money that Aston Villa would want, and again, they have wealthy owners, so unless they had PSR issues, they wouldn't want to sell. Semenyo, I have to say I'm really on the fence about, especially if you are talking about 70 million quid being the figure, but Brian Mbeumo, sign me up for that. I've said it for a very long time. Fan of Brian Mbeumo, works really hard, can play anywhere across the front line. He is aggressive, he is versatile, he knows where the back of the net is. And for me, if you can't get Rodgers, I would take Mbeumo in a heartbeat. And I think, to be honest, most of you guys watching probably would as well. So that is it for now, ladies and gentlemen. But again, thank you for your continued support. Look forward to your comments. Do let me know what you think on all the stories that we've discussed today. Appreciate your support, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 3:15 for a watch-along of the Red Strip to Stamford Bridge, where we'll be taking on Chelsea and getting that guard of honour for Enzo Maresca's men. Until then, my friends, have a cracking Saturday, and we'll catch up soon. Much love. Bye-bye.